It's Alicia.
And Eddie.
And this is our channel, We to 3. We're back this week with yet another Weigh-In Wednesday.
Hurrah!
I think this is our 9th week straight.
Yep.
I'm pretty proud of us for sticking to it.
Yep.
It's pretty awesome.
So last week went okay. My parents came over, which is awesome. We worked on the yard a lot, which is great.
That was probably a workout in and of itself.
I had like 13,000 steps, I think, that day.
Step.
It was intense. I climbed like 7 to 10 floors. I don't know. It was crazy.
That is great.
But we had some beers and that day, and I think from that was kind of like my tipping point. I was like, oh, beer, huh? Oh, what about maybe a shake this night? And then maybe let's go have burgers this day. So I had an incline in my weight today, but we'll get to that in just a second.
Yeah, last week, went pretty well for us. I think through the week is really easy for us, and when we get to the weekend, that's when it gets hard because we are eaters. We like to celebrate by eating.
We live in Portland.
Yeah, Portland is full of delicious things, so it's really
So
hard.
rude.
Yeah. So, we did splurge a little bit this weekend, and I would say that it probably affected our weigh-ins a little bit. I would think that it maybe affected Edwin's a little more just because of the beer. I don't really drink all that often or that much when I do, so that really didn't factor into mine. That leads us to this week's weigh-in. If you watched last week's, you remember that I was 209, and this week I weighed in at 211. And besides our eating last weekend, I think there are a couple more reasons why that might have happened. I'll get into that in a little bit when we talk about what's coming up for this week.
And I was 232.
Which you were, what, last week?
230.
So we both had a 2-pound incline. And I do think that they were maybe for different reasons. Which leads us to kind of what we're going to do next week. If you remember also from last week's video, I just signed up for a thing called ClassPass, and I explained it pretty much all in the last video, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it. I've been using my ClassPass to go to a bunch of different classes. I've gone to, on average, about 4 a week between last week, and I'm signed up for another 2 this week, and I've already gone to 2. And I think personally, I believe that is the reason that I've gone up 2 pounds. Because I think that if we were measuring ourselves every week, I think I would have lost quite a bit in my measurements, and my scale, the scale probably stayed the same for me because I've gained already. I can feel muscle, and my muscles are constantly sore because they were not being worked before, and now they are. So my guess is that I'm gaining a lot of muscle mass in a short period of time, and that it's making the scale fluctuate that way, and then maybe eventually it'll start to go down once I've gained quite a bit of muscle mass. So I think I may have 2 to 3 more weeks of either gain or stay the same in my future for that reason. We'll see.
I think what happened with me this last weekend was that I fell off the bandwagon with logging my food, and so cheat day kind of turned into cheat week. And then that happens, we all go there.
Occasionally.
So I think one of my biggest goals for next week is to get back on the food journaling plan thing. Also for next week, I think making a workout plan for myself in tandem with that would also be really effective. Ideally, it would be personal training.
Or having someone make you one.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's not that you wouldn't go do it, and it's not that you don't know what to do at the gym. You just need someone to map it out for you to get over the hump of getting there.
Yeah, I can get there. I can just stare at things though when I get there and be like, well, that would have been cool if I had done that when I left, but meh.
Totally.
I got there.
And I think sometimes if you map it out yourself, you still get there and
meh.
Look around, and there's not as much motivation, I think, if you're not being held accountable to something to really give a workout your all. If someone's not watching you, it's easy to just man, I'm doing this, but I'm not really invested.
So that's what I'm going to investigate next week. That would really be helpful.
Totally.
Yeah.
Besides Edwin's plan, I'm basically just continuing the same thing that I've been doing with ClassPass. I feel like my eating's been pretty good. The weekends are sometimes hard. I'm going to try to limit my portions. It really helps, even if we're going out to eat something that I know is not something I should be eating. I think being able to just have a little bit of it to satiate yourself for that cheat meal idea, and then being ready to not have it as much of it as you usually would have. I think that'll be helpful coming into this weekend for sure. But otherwise, I'm just going to stick to the same thing I've been doing and keeping up with my ClassPass. What I've been doing is kind of like alternating classes where I feel like they'll be really hard, and then putting in some that I think will be a little less challenging. The problem with going to multiple studios and taking multiple different classes is that you run the risk of each class working the exact same muscle group. So by the end of the week, like one part of your body is just torn up and the other part is like fine. And that happened to me last week with my lower body. It like every class I went to was like lower body, lower body, lower body. And I was like, okay, that's great. But I have these arms that need some stuff, and like a back and a chest, and like all of that needed work. And it was mainly just lower body. Awesome. So every time I sign up for a class, I'm keeping that in mind. And hopefully the classes I sign up for will have enough rotation through things that I get a little bit of each every time. And that I think is it for this week. It's kind of a short one. We're in a kind of weird like in-between spot where we're really trying to find our stride. I'm trying to pick things up a little bit, and to be fair, I kind of feel like we need to like get Edwin going too. I mean, I found ClassPass and that's kicking my butt into gear, and we need to find something that does the same thing for Edwin. So if you guys have suggestions of workouts you follow, I mean, maybe we need to look into stuff like some CrossFit style routines so that you can like really kick your butt when you do get to the gym. That way it's like going for it every time.
Mostly with the sunny weather, I just want to be a lounge lizard and just hang out in the sun.
Yeah, that's the other thing is that the weather has been really nice in Portland, and it kind of makes Edwin, instead of, you would think like cozy weather makes him want to like lounge in. It's the sun. Yeah. The sun, and he's like, oh, just nap. I want to nap.
I just want to sprawl out.
Yeah.
Take a nap.
Yeah. So we got to move past that as we get into like the nicer weather of spring. We'll get you back on track for next week. And I bet as soon as you get back on track, you'll start losing really quickly like this.
Lordy, I hope so.
So that's it for this week, and we'll see you guys next week in our next weigh-in Wednesday. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe below. You can follow us along every week. Like I said, it's our 9th straight. We haven't missed one yet, and we don't plan to. So you can keep up with us every week. You can also follow us on all of our other social media accounts, and all of that information is down in the description below. Give us a like, give us a comment. Let us know, do you have like a website or a place you go to find like really intense workouts that Edwin can do just at the gym by himself? Because he needs some help, y'all. He needs some help. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.